Hey friend, I'm so happy that you're here. Today we're going to be talking about setting up your schedule while you're working from home. So this is just like something that I really have enjoyed, and I love talking about these kind of things because it's just something that's helped me. And I figured I needed a tea break, so I figured that I'd just come over here and have my tea break and chat with you guys. Let's do this. If you're new here, welcome! I'm so happy that you're here. We talk about writing, productivity, and publishing, and I also do interviews with people in the publishing industry here on this channel. So if that sounds like fun, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and we will have a blast here. Let's get into this. Sure. When you're setting your schedule, you want to make sure that you decide to do the thing that you're not looking forward to. Do that first. Get it done with first. So if you're not looking forward to, you have to write. Say you're a writer like me, and you need to write 2,000 words today, and it has to be for this project that you're working on. It needs to get done in 2 weeks, let's just say, and you keep putting it off. Well, that should be the first thing that you do on your to-do list. And this kind of just goes back to this book. I read it last year, and it was good. It's kind of a gross saying, right? Eat the frog. Eat that frog. Like,
who wants to eat a gross toad or a gross frog like that? But
yeah, because it kind of goes back to like what Mark Twain said. Mark Twain once said that if the first thing you do each morning is to eat a live frog, you can go throughout the day with the satisfaction knowing that this is probably the worst thing that is going to happen to you all day long. So it's kind of just like a good idea of like getting the toughest thing out of the way so that the rest of the day is a breeze. So it's kind of a way to help you stop procrastinating, which, by the way, if you guys are interested in this book, I definitely do recommend it. It had some really good information in there about procrastination. It's Eat That Frog, 12 Great Ways to Stop Procrastinating and Get More Done in Less Time. So a really good book, really good information. I definitely would recommend it to anyone wanting to stop that procrastination beast from becoming bigger. So once you've figured out what that top thing is that you are kind of trying to procrastinate from, make that be your top priority for the beginning of the day. Make sure that you sit down and you intend to finish that project. Because also, by the end of the day, if you get to the end of the day and you finish that project, you're just going to feel so much more like you have that you've reached so many more goals by finishing that one project than you would have if you got off, like, say, laundry, clean the kitchen, doing this, doing that. Those are all great things, but in the same breath, you're not feeling like you're moving towards your goals any more than if you got, like, the big things out of the way. Then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really making progress. This is really good news. Like, this is perfect. So that is my number one tip. Eat the frog, people. Eat the frog. Not a literal frog, just the frog project. Because that would be disgusting. Like a frog? Ew. And the next thing is, and I'm going to show you this here, moving my tea here so I can grab my notebook here. So basically, to-do lists. And I know I've talked about to-do lists in other videos, and mainly because they are seriously what helps me get things done. And like, I still remember when I was younger, I would like make to-do lists on how to achieve something. And then I would know the steps that I need to take in order to achieve that goal, which it usually always worked out, unless of course I procrastinated and then didn't finish it, which that's the worst thing ever. I don't want to be like a person that, starts projects but never finishes them, because that is something I've struggled with in the past, and it's not fun, is it? It's not fun to not do it all the way through, and then you have this halfway project that's like halfway through but it's not done because you procrastinated or because you gave up on it because it took too long. So this is one thing that's really helped me with to-do lists. So I have quite a few different lists. Now, if I could show you on my phone here, so you can see what my phone looks like with the screenshot of my to-do list. And my to-do list will go like, you scroll. It's a long list. I call it my running to-do list. My running list. It's got everything on there. But anywho, then other than that, I also have my daily to-do lists where I write out my to-do list, the things I need to get done, the things that are the most important, also some notes with some other things that I do. But I usually do this in my planner, but this week was really busy, so I ended up kind of scribbling all over today's date with a bunch of other stuff I had to get done. And so I grabbed my notebook and I'm like, okay, so this is my list of things that I have to get done. I check it all off when I'm done. And it's a great accomplishment when you feel like you've actually accomplished some of the things that are really big on your list. But yeah, so I try to do a daily to-do list, and that I do, usually I make that list at night before I go to bed for the next day, so that the next day I can jump up and get going, and I know exactly what I'm going to be doing and what I need to achieve in order to have it be a successful day. And then besides that, I also like to have like a weekly list. So every Sunday I do like a Sunday planning time where I go through and I figure out, okay, these are the things I need to finish for the week ahead. And I go through that running to-do list that I mentioned just a bit ago on my phone, where it has like a bunch of everything else that I need to do. I go through that weekly, every Sunday. And I'm like, okay, well then I can move this project up, so I work on it this week. Okay, I need to be to chapter 8 by this week in my edits or whatnot. And then I know that I can break that down and say, okay, I need to edit chapter 4, 5, and 6 today, and I'm going to edit chapter 7, 8. You kind of get the point with that, right? So then it makes it easier for when you make your weekly, like your daily goals, because then you can be like, okay, well, I need to edit chapter 3, 4, and 5 today, and then I'll do the rest tomorrow. So then you can kind of see that you're moving forward in your goals as well. And I found that really helpful. But the weekly goals are also really nice, because then you can also just remember to put things in there, like maybe you have a dentist appointment or a doctor appointment, or maybe you have to run the kids to daycare one day or something. And those are all good things to add to your to-do list, just so that you're also thinking about your life besides work at home. Because like when you work from home, a lot of things are happening. Like you have household chores and household things to do, as well as, edit 8 chapters, or read the personal development book that will help me be a better boss to myself, right? By the way, I read a lot of personal development books, and it really helps you just become a better boss for yourself. And then the last list that I like to have is my quarterly list, and I do this every so I kind of at the beginning of the year, I have this idea of like, okay, by the end of the year, I want to have accomplished these things, and I have it in different goals categories. So I have writing goals, then I have Patreon goals, and I have YouTube and blog goals, and then I have email goals. So I have 4 different basically categories of my goals, and you can sit down and put your goals into those different categories. Of course, you might have different categories than me, but then at each quarter, I go through those goals. So I'm going to be releasing a video very shortly of my Q1 goal recap and how that went and what I'm going to do moving forward. So that'll be coming out next week. Another thing I found super helpful are tools. And tools can be like as simple as like your planner, like your paper planner. Like, you guys, I am a huge paper planner. I love my paper planner. I think it goes back to like elementary school. Our school would actually give us these really cool planners, and I would like feel like I could just like conquer the world with a planner, And I still feel that way. It's just funny. Planners and to-do lists, kind of my jive. But anywho, so tools. Really great tool is like your planner. Like if you're like me and you love your paper planner, that's great. I also do like to have like a digital planner for things just to like schedule my interviews and meetings and my writing time. And plus, a great thing with that too is you can easily move things around. And when you're traveling, you don't have to bring a ton of notebooks or a ton of, because as time goes by, if you have a notebook and a planner and say a book that you're going to bring with, I mean, that's a lot of stuff to carry, when you're traveling and everything. So, so I like to have a digital planner too. And this is mostly for when I'm like traveling, just so that I have that backup, so that when I'm traveling, I'm not completely lost when I'm setting up my schedule. Another thing that I really like about planning is that you can do time blocking. So one thing that might help you with this is actually, I don't know if you've ever done this before, but I've read many books and many blog posts and listened to many videos where they're like, okay, make sure that you sit down and write down everything that you do in a week, like every hour. Just pay attention to, from the moment you get up till the moment you go to bed, what do you do in a day? And write it all down. And you know what? I've found it helpful. I've done it before. Do that, and you'll see where you're actually wasting more time and where you could actually be doing more. So in those chunks, you could actually be working on some of these like time blocks and everything. So you can block your time off saying like, say maybe like from 10 to noon, I'm going to work on edits and say which project. And then I have, like, for instance, here, 12:30, I'm going to have lunch, have 12:30 till 1:30. And then about 1:35 till 4:30, I'll work on such and such beats, story beats for another project. So then I'm working on multiple projects throughout the day. So it's like at the beginning of the day, I'm going to be editing the project that I have right now. And then later in the day, I'm going to be working on the writing of a new project. So I found that really helpful, where you're like blocking off your time in chunks so that you know that you can like get a lot done in that time. And another thing that really helps with those time blocks is set your timer. Set your timer for the full 4 hours, or if you would rather be able to like get up and go and stretch or walk around a little bit, set your timer for an hour. And this can be kind of like a writing sprint too, like where you set your timer for about an hour, say, okay, after an hour, I'm going to get up and do some things around the house quick. And then after that, I will come back and I'll write again for another hour. Those are really kind of cool ways to think of the time blocks and sprints, productivity sprints. So I hope that you found this video helpful. I really enjoy talking about productivity and tips for being successful in your business and working from home as a writer. And I absolutely love sharing tips and tricks about like publishing and writing. And I love doing interviews with people in the publishing industry. So if that sounds like any fun to you, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and we'll have a ton of fun here because that's the kind of stuff that we talk about here. I love it. And you might even come away with a ton of like book recommendations and stuff. So I love sharing things that have changed my life and made my life easier. And I want to help you do the same. So I'll see you next time. Bye.